I actually don't even really know what all I can really say about Megadeth. They're a band that's been making music long before I was born. I think I'm not alone in saying that. And they truly are one of my favorite bands of all time. Unfortunately, there's a reason why I kind of don't cover certain bands, mostly the ones that are super well known and popular. One, I kind of feel like they don't really need any more publicity. They're well known, so I feel like me throwing in my 2 cents would just be like a raindrop in an ocean. However, there is one other reason why I don't cover big names on this channel. This actually happened to me somewhat recently. When I was editing a video, I was kind of coming up with certain things, and one thing I came up in particular was the idea of like video games and music. And one game I was talking about was Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4. I didn't think much of it, and I just kind of thought I could probably play like 20 seconds of the intro to Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 and we'll be good. Well, 20 seconds was just long enough that the video got banned worldwide, so yeah. And that's just from playing the music. I have received bans on videos to where it was like more of the visual and not the audio. So it's one thing if it's a video that is the problem, because then I could just censor the video and we'll be good. But if the music is the reason why it's getting banned worldwide, then I got no content for you guys, to which this channel would be completely dead. So I'm still kind of debating on how I really want to do a album review. So this is actually the very first album review that I've done on this channel. And I can't think of anything better than covering Megadeth. And essentially what I thought of how I'm going to go about this, I haven't even checked it out yet at the time of this particular recording, but my plan on how to do this is I think I'm going to react to every single song on this album. I think there's like 11 tracks, and I'm going to be in for a long day because I typically like to pause and kind of talk over the music, because I think that's like the whole point of doing a reaction is you add yourself to the video. How I thought I would do this is I'm going to go ahead and react to all 11 songs. Yeah, I think the runtime on it I saw on Spotify was something like 45 minutes long. So, and typically whenever I do a reaction, I usually have like 10 be the cutoff. So I already know from experience that usually takes me almost all day to like get through everything. So I will say this is going to be a little bit different because I don't need to do an intro to everything. So it's just going to be listening to the music, talking over it, and pausing from time to time. So I just really don't know how today's gonna be. Luckily, this is the weekend, so I have all day to do this. So I'm really looking forward to all of this. I'm gonna be very intrigued to see what we have. So I am going to react to all the songs. However, I think to like edit each and every single one and release all of them just sounds insane to me. So I think the best way to go about this is I am going to pick my favorite tracks, and I think I'm going to try and edit those and see if I could get those ones out for you guys. If you do have any songs that you guys liked from Megadeth's final album, I would love to hear some of your guys' favorite tracks, and maybe I would edit one of those videos. However, keep that in mind that as I really don't know what I would do if it turns out that the song does get banned worldwide. Because, again, like I said before, if it's a video, I could easily edit that. I could just, put an image over the video. But if it's the song itself that is the problem, I don't know. I guess I would have to put it up on Patreon, I guess, but it just feels weird to have like something fully edited and it's just for Patreon. I feel like it should be both YouTube and Patreon. I don't know. I guess that's for future me to worry about, but for now, I think I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the entire album. And I know for you guys, it's just going to be a few seconds, but for me, there's a good chance this might even take me like 2-3 days to get through all of this, depending on how everything goes. So, and that's if IRL doesn't get in the way, but we'll have to see, I guess. But anyway, I'll be back in a few, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts on Megadeth, which reminds me, this is going to be the first time I'm going to be reacting, and I actually might need to take notes. So, I should probably set that up while I'm at it. But anyway, I'll be back in a few. I'm going to react to the full album, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts. So, stay with me.
Made in.
He's fat.
When is this gonna be on the air?
I had a long day. So I finished listening to every single Megadeth song from their final album, and this is what I have to say. Right off the bat, I could probably say that a lot of the songs don't really stand out too much, unfortunately. So I will say a lot of this album did kind of feel underwhelming. I can also say, at least on that note, I personally kind of think that there was no bad song in this album. It was just, you feel like something's missing, or they could have done a little bit more kind of type of thing. So, but the best way I can describe it is it just felt a little underwhelming. With that being said, though, even though I did try to stay away from social media, I did try to not take in any outside information before doing any of this, so I'm going in completely blind and zero outside input. So this is all me, my opinion. However, I did get one small little glimpse. I did watch a music news video, and I do recall the guy was saying something along the lines of a lot of people probably didn't like this album because they were going in with the intent of trying to find good music. And at least in his opinion, and I can't see where he was going with it, but by the end of the day, I'm just going to say I'm just a big dummy. I also just want to listen to like really good music. I think this is worth mentioning is I did hear that someone did say that, yeah, if you go in looking for good music, it's going to feel underwhelming, but if you go in with the idea of you're looking at what the band learned over the years and applying it to their music, you can see how much they grew as a band. And with that idea, I get it, but again, I just want to listen to good music. Maybe that's a little food for thought. Now, for the record, I did watch all of this on YouTube, so watching it on YouTube, there were some music videos, and then there was just some audio videos. So, pretty much, I think there was only like 3 music videos throughout this entire thing. So, the first song that we have on the album is Tipping Point. And this was a music video. I want to say out of all the music videos that I did see from the 3, I think this one was probably the best, in my opinion. It was just a very dark and gritty, like abandoned, I think it was like just like a abandoned prison is what it looked like. Musically though, I want to say it was kind of forgettable. Now, I will say this is kind of bad on my part. I did react to every single song, so goes without saying, but if there is a song that you guys thought was really good from this particular album, would love to hear it, and I might consider editing that particular reaction for you guys. Do let me know down in the comments. Going through everything, I think it was around the 3rd track or so, I realized, oh yeah, I should probably be taking notes. So I actually had to try and remember what was the first song that I was listening to, and I just remember it was at that moment I realized it's actually kind of forgettable musically. It's not bad, it's just there was nothing that really stood out to me. I didn't think it was too good. It was just like a lot of the songs on this album, I would say is okay. Much like the next song on our list, and that is I Don't Care. To be fair, I thought this was a dedication to me, mostly because this is the story of my life. I don't care either.
Testimony be stricken from the record. Denied! Casey Smith, you're on.
So as much as I don't care, the song, it's... I think one of the reasons why I didn't like this song in particular is because this didn't feel like a typical Megadeth song to me. It just... Part of it was kind of feeling like, is Dave trying to like appeal to like a younger audience? Because you hear it in some of the lyrics and you just kind of see it with the visuals, and hearing the song and everything, it did kind of feel like he was trying to appeal to like a younger audience. So Steve Buscemi mean?
Howdy do, fellow kids.
What?
But end of the day, I did thought it was okay. It's just it probably wasn't for me. I don't know. I just something about it, like it didn't fit Megadeth or something. I don't know. Or maybe I don't care. Now the 3rd track on the list, I believe it was after this is when I discovered I should probably be taking notes. So the 3rd track on this album is Hey God. Well, I mean, I guess Tipping Point was like okay, and probably does feel like a Megadeth song, but I felt like Hey God, maybe not lyrically, but I thought instrumentally it did feel more like a traditional Megadeth song, at least in my opinion. There was just something about it that just felt like it was more, to me it just kind of felt like an older Megadeth song from one of the classics is what it felt like, at least to me at least. So there was just something about it, it just had like a more classic Megadeth vibe to me. So on to track number 4, Let There Be Shred. This was actually the last of the music videos, so the other 2 being Tipping Point and I Don't Care. Let There Be Shred, I actually thought this was just fun. That's the only way I could describe it, is this was just fun to listen to. And the music video that they did, it was kind of like a Fight Club kind of type of vibe, so it was fun to listen to, and it was also fun to watch. And then we have track number 5, Puppet Parade. Can we just say, the best, the best, the best. The best, the best, the best. Yeah, this is the best. I was kind of wondering why Puppet Parade was trending on X. I did take a peek. I didn't listen to it, but I did take a peek, and I was wondering why Puppet Parade was trending. Now I know why. And if there's any song from this album that you need to go listen to, this is the one. However, though, I will say there are still a couple of other good songs on this album. We'll get to them when we cross that bridge, and there is definitely one that really does demand attention. Track number 5, we have Whoops. But my mind instantly went to Motörhead. Not the greatest album that they ever did, but then again...
I'll cut off her mic.
No. Let her speak. I'm trying to get fired.
Leave it to me to just take the opportunity to always reference Motörhead. I'm guilty. Which does not exist, by the way. Another Bad Day. I will say Another Bad Day, I think it was actually, I would probably say was actually my favorite song instrumentally, in my opinion. I wouldn't say it was like a slow chug like doom metal, but there was definitely like a slow heaviness that I did kind of like, that was the main riff throughout the entire song, and I gotta say I did like it. I thought it was really good. So on to track number 7, that would be Made to Kill. Maybe I'm guilty here, but first words out of Dave Mustaine's mouth was Born to Lose. I gotta say, if anyone knows me and knows my channel, how do I end my streams? Born to Lose, Live to Win. But yeah, a song that just talks about death and destruction. That's my vibe. That's what I want to hear. And that's why I thought it was a good song. But on to number 8. This is Obey the Call. So I mentioned earlier that outside of Puppet Parade, there was one other song that I said that was really good. Yeah, this is not the one. And in my opinion, I kind of thought that this kind of had like a little bit of the total package, in my opinion. There was just a lot that I liked. The instruments was really good. The vocals, the lyrics, everything just kind of worked, and I just really enjoyed it. And on top of that, I actually thought this had like the best guitar solo of the entire album, at least in my opinion. Definitely want to say this was like one of the more stronger songs outside of the other two. One that I mentioned, another one that I'm going to mention. And overall, I just kind of thought this was a really, really good song. Number 9, we have I Am War. So this was pretty much one of the slowest songs that they had. But we are talking about a thrash metal band, so this was just done at regular speed. Personally, I thought it was actually just a good song all around. But I will say, though, I was vibing a lot with it, but I just kind of felt it was just a little underwhelming. It's kind of like most of the album. It is just... feels like there's something missing, something they could have done more. I can't put my finger on it, but yeah, I did like this song, but I will admit it did kind of feel something about it just felt underwhelming. I almost want to say this is like kind of like the end of the actual album, but we do have one bonus track, so take that information for what you will. The last song that we have of the original album is Last Note. And going into this song, when I was reacting to it, I will say I kind of had a hunch. I probably should have phrased it differently. I think I said something along the lines of, I'm going to assume this is probably going to be like Dave Mustaine's like final message to his fans, probably. Which is true, but I probably also should have said in his own way. Hearing Dave's vocals at the start and end, you could really kind of hear his age. I think it just worked with the song so well. To have a little bit of like having the acoustic and electric, I thought was a great taste of just kind of blending it how they did. Definitely with the acoustic, it did give it a more somber feel that I kind of felt like it really worked with the song. It really was kind of like Dave saying goodbye in his own way. We do have a bonus track because this was the one that was trending on X, and I believe it was Loudwire that
missed it by that much.
Megadeth was like, they were slowly leaking their album list. It'll be like faded, but it will become more clear, and you would see more and more of the track list. And for the bonus tracks, people were trying to predict what that faded track said. Everyone almost immediately was saying, oh my god, it's Ride the Lightning. This is Ride the Lightning. This is the one that everyone was talking about. It was quite the talk of the town, and it's obvious to see why if you know the history, because this was the last song that Dave wrote for Metallica before he left.
Wrong.
I'm retarded?
Yeah.
Obviously, Dave, I guess he wanted to do his own version of it. And I heard across the board, this was not a cover. This was going to be a reimagining. This is going to be a Megadeth version. I don't know if it's because I'm not the biggest Metallica fan. I don't know if it's I haven't heard Ride the Lightning in a while. But from my best recollection, okay, well, I guess my memory is not the greatest, but
I'm retarded?
I'm pretty sure this is a cover.
Yeah.
Now, unless I'm missing something, maybe they did change things up in small ways here and there, but from what I heard, yeah, this was a cover. I will still say it was the better cover. Now, to be fair, I might be guilty on this, and I will admit I'm probably guilty on this. I think Dave is a far better vocalist than James Hetfield, at least in my opinion. I would probably say I'm more of a Megadeth fan than I am a Metallica fan. Honestly, with all seriousness, no joking, no nothing, no BS. I do like both Metallica and Megadeth. It's just between the two, if I had to pick, I would say I'm more of a Megadeth fan. But I will definitely say there are songs that Metallica has done over the years. I want to say I'm more in the camp of, I think the older songs are the best. Kill 'Em All is the Metallica album of all time, just simply because there was no filler on that album. It was just poetry beginning to end, and it was the one album to where Dave Mustaine was there throughout, so who knows? Maybe some of the talent left when he left. Credit where credit is due. I will say Metallica, I want to say the last good years was probably, I want to say the 90s were okay. I am in that camp as well. Possibly the last really good albums were Load and Reload. The last decent album was probably Death Magnetic. They kind of fell off the rails ever since. And if I thought that Saint Anger couldn't be topped as the worst album that Metallica ever did, it is weird to say that it actually did get worse. The less we talk about it, the better.
No. Wait.
Aunt Lois is mad enough at me without... Oh, God, I'm sorry. I can't look at you. I mean, I can handle ugly, but this is like circus ugly.
Getting back to Megadeth, I don't know how many people will agree with me on this, but I actually thought that album 13 was really, really freaking good. I want to say for me, that was my album that I really liked. I think top to bottom, that album was super, super good. If we were to take that, now, of course, there's plenty of others that we could probably use as, like, an example of, like, top-tier albums, but let's just say I want to give a little bit of a chance to this last album, the final one. So if we were to use 13 as, like, the top of the top, yeah, I will say that this album definitely, their final album, Megadeth, it does fall short of an album like 13, unfortunately. Overall, I think it is a 7 out of 10. I think, in my opinion, solid, but it really does depend on how much I want to focus on, say, Ride the Lightning. What were some of the songs? Ride the Lightning, Obey the Call, and Puppet Parade. So out of those 3 songs, out of the other 8 that we heard, you know, how much do I want to focus on those 3 songs and decipher how much it probably deserves, like, maybe like an 8. So if I want to be generous, I could say 8, but I think I can safely say that I think a 7 is a good call for this particular album. Again, I think it is worth noting what I heard from that one music news video is that one guy saying that if you go in looking for good music, you are gonna probably be disappointed from this album, but if you look at what Megadeth did as a whole, from how much they grew as a band, then you would find enjoyment from this album. I do think that is worth noting, but once again, worth saying that I'm just here looking for good music.